Yo, Joe. Talking comics, here's your host. It's A Real American Brian.
Hey, YouTube. It's A Real American Brian. I'm back with my three friends. And if you watched the previous video on the 10 best G.I. Joe names, now we're going to get into the 10 worst G.I. Joe names. And if you haven't watched that one, just a quick explanation. We're basing this on the name solely. We've tried to disconnect ourselves from the character, from the toys as much as possible. Sometimes it's unavoidable. We have these feelings and memories built up, so you can't. Unlike, well, except for Mike. Mike is very easy to disconnect there. So we're just judging this based on the name solely, and we have the 10 worst. Brian is here to my left, and Johnny and Mike are all returning now. Mike is making his second appearance on the channel, so all these guys have been on my channel multiple times. But we've all compiled our list of the 10 worst names. We've done the math, and we have the 10 all-time worst G.I. Joe names and 3 honorable mentions. So let's start with the honorable mentions, and the first honorable mention actually had 2 different people that voted for it. Johnny and Brian both voted for this one.
Can I just clarify? These would be dishonorable mentions.
Dishonorable, sure. That very wise. But Ozone is the first one. So Johnny and Brian both hated this name.
Where do we begin? I mean, let's just destroy it. First off, look at his real name. David Kuntz. I don't want to say it, but Kuntz? I'm sorry.
Birthplace is a little on the nose.
Birthplace on the nose. Ozone, what a literal hot button of a subject when he came out.
Right. Nowadays, what?
Right.
Who else was from 3 Mile Island, a wrestler?
Oh, fun fact, 3 Mile Island, Mike, you could correct me if I'm wrong, as the man of science here. 3 Mile Island is actually an example of how nuclear power and our precautions with it worked as intended.
Well, you could also argue, too, that the ozone hole that was such a problem, which you no longer hear, and people are like, what happened? It's like, yes, because we actually worked as a planet and banned fluorocarbons, and it's no longer an issue.
I thought it was fixed by an increased use of bumper car tracks because of that ozone smell.
Oh, yeah.
Bumper cone, and that would go back up.
I think it was because we stopped using Aquanet.
Yeah, that too.
I think it was Captain Planet.
Oh, yeah.
So Ozone is a dumb name.
And he was called an ozone trooper, I think.
Yes.
And his name was Ozone. Larry really phoned it in on that one.
We're skipping past my trivia question here, though. The wrestler from 3 Mile Island was Atom Bomb.
Oh,
that's better than Ozone.
Was Ozone made my dishonorable mentions list too? So
Atom Bomb was a Garbage Pail Kid as well, I believe.
Yes, he was the poster child.
He was, yeah.
Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah, the main guy. Yep.
Main guy.
Yeah. So yeah, Ozone is kind of lame. By the way, you know, when you see Joe's in modern day comics, would Ozone even ever be in a modern comic? Probably not.
His job's complete.
Right.
He won his war.
Yeah, should have killed him off. Should have flew up to it and closed it himself.
Mm-hmm.
The next dishonorable mention was put on the list by Mike, and Mike alone. If you watched our previous video, he appeared on there. But Keel Hall was on Mike's worst name list, where on the best Joe list, he was actually number 1.
It fits because Mike is usually a contrarian about things that people like.
True. But, you know, it is a form of torture. I mean,
right, but that's cool. That's why it's cool. It's like calling a fat guy tiny.
No, that's not the same.
Is it because you spent many nights at the Admiral?
I've actually never been to the Admiral.
It's very disappointing.
Fun fact.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
So, I mean, it's not like real torture, though.
It's not like he called him, you know, Lynchman or something like that, but, you know.
That would probably not be okay.
No.
That'd be rough.
Yeah.
But like, what about Iron Maiden? That's a cool name, right?
Yeah.
But Iron Maidens were fake.
Were they?
What do you mean
Yeah.
fake?
They weren't really used.
They existed, but they weren't used.
It was just
No, they existed after the fact, and they claimed that they were being used as
Oh.
torture devices, but they really weren't
Oh.
because
What about
they're
guillotine?
stupid.
What about
What? Yeah,
guillotine?
guillotines definitely were.
That's not really torture. That's the opposite.
None of
That
these
was
are
actually
killers.
created as a way to
No, I think
humanitarianly kill someone. But
Dull
we're
blade.
getting off track.
Dull blade guillotine's where it's at, though.
Ow! Ow!
A lot of
Okay.
owls.
Our final dishonorable mention was also put on the list by two different people. Mike and Brian this time brought us the great Meddler.
Look at that guy.
Yeah.
Look at the secondary specialty. I put him on here because I couldn't help but think, I've fallen and I can't get up.
Did he come out around that time?
He looks more
after
modern.
that
Look at the
time.
build on him. He does not
was-
look like a classic Joe at all.
No, he was definitely later, so that commercial had been out for quite a while before this character.
But it's called the Meddler, right? I wasn't
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
That's
it's
why I
also-
put him on there.
The comment I had on that was, "This is the bracelet you wear to tell people you know they have the beatus." So
I got the beatus.
I got the beatus,
Allergic to penicillin
which I am.
and tomatoes.
I just don't
Is
like
that-
them.
No.
Is that because they invented it when you were still a kid?
Tomatoes.
Yes.
When Jesus invented that. Well, look at his secondary specialty is Tai Chi.
Yeah.
But wait, what did it say after that? Tai Chi what?
It's
The-
it's
something-
Tai Chi something, right? Chuan.
Is that like the more aggressive Tai Chi?
Yeah, Tai Chi is just slow motion kung fu, right?
You don't hurt anybody with Tai Chi though.
No, it's more of a meditative thing.
But I'm thinking maybe the Chuan version kicks ass.
Yeah.
We may
That's
never
the
know.
one that
but
Steven
if-
Seagal-
No, you're doing Tai Chi like Biron did. That's how he did it. And you go chew on this. And then you like
So if you know more about Tai Chi, feel free to comment down below and correct us because we're obviously idiots.
Obviously, yes.
But to get into the list now, number 10, the number 10 worst name, and we were judging by names alone, but this is probably the ugliest figure on our list as well. But Brian gave us Robo Joe.
I thought you were going to pull up the picture of Biron's selfie figure. You said the ugliest.
Oh God, that's awful.
That doesn't even look like it's from the same line. But,
He
oh
looks
my
like a
God.
GoBot, actually.
Yeah, it looks like something Tonka produced.
Tonka.
Wow.
It looks like something
Isn't it a little
Tatanka,
dark?
the
Criminal
wrestler,
termination,
produced.
like he's an executor.
Also, he's got two first names, so I don't trust him right off the bat.
Yeah, I was gonna say that same thing. Yeah.
That's serial killer territory.
Just like Brian Mitchell.
Yeah, I know, that's rough.
I would go by Mitchell because Mitchell's the best fictional character ever.
Yeah.
From the movie.
Yes.
I have a T-shirt of that.
Yes, you do. Robo Joe. That has to be from some rogue. That looks like a dollar store knockoff Joe.
You know what's
Yeah, it
kind of
really
dumb
does.
too is the whole idea is when Cobra comes out with robots or anything Android, the idea is you can kill lots of them and it never feels like you're killing anything because it's all robots.
Right.
So to have the Joes have a robot is kind of dumb.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this character at all, but he is not very highly ranked, and his primary specialty is criminal termination.
So he
It is-
flips the switch.
Is this another one that came out like a RoboCop tie-in when the movie came out?
It has to be. Yeah.
I really don't know, but it definitely also looks like a late in the line, maybe Star Brigade era type figure.
that is no kung fu grip. He cannot hold a weapon. The fists are closed. There's no hold.
Well, if he's Robo Joe, the robot is the weapon.
Right.
Right. Oh, but that is Robo Joe. If you know more about Robo Joe, please let me know because he's horrible. Next on the list, we're up to number 9. The number 9 worst name brought to us by Mike. I don't think it's that bad of a name, but Mike hates it. Big Lob.
It's
Is that
just
Black
bad.
Bazooka? Is that a repaint of Bazooka?
Well, it's
I'm
not
not sure.
because Bazooka, I think, had helmets, I believe.
Yeah, it's a different head, but the chest maybe. I'm not sure.
Were they both number 14?
Yeah. What jersey
Was
number did
Bazooka 11 or was no? He was 14 too, wasn't
Extreme, another episode. Sorry, Real American Brian. Another episode. All the ones who had jerseys of some sort and make a
There's
team
a
out of
basketball
them.
guy too. Yeah.
Like who would be what position on the team?
he? Okay. A team of what? Pickleball players?
Yeah, obviously pickleball. So Big Lob, is he lobbing a pass
The
like
grenade
a
guy,
alley
right?
oop in basketball?
That's kind of stereotypical.
yeah, I
I'm not
believe-
going to comment on that.
I believe
What
that.
else is a lob? Tennis?
No, I think in the movie, I believe he had a basketball with him because he was part of Sarge's.
Yeah, he was there with Tunnel Rat and
Yeah.
Chuckles and Jinx. Maybe.
So it's canon and stereotypical here.
Right.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
from
because
Chicago.
he made this whole. He was doing a play-by-play when he was doing the obstacle course, if I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, but part of the Big Lob too, it's kind of there's two meanings to it because he's a grenader.
Yep.
That makes more because that makes more sense. Because if he's a basketball player, wouldn't he be called slam dunk?
No, because you don't want to slam dunk a grenade because then you're too close to it.
Well, you're not going to pass a grenade to your friend.
You're gonna
he was
lob
passing
it.
to a Cobra though.
Right. You're going to lob it to the enemy, but I thought it was a sports thing.
And I believe he did throw a grenade into some kind of hoop in the obstacle course.
I mean, of course he did. Next on the list at number 8, the number 8 worst G.I. Joe name was brought to us by Brian. Mr. Courage himself.
I think the only reason I put him on here is just because of pure laziness of the name.
So we was it our last episode we talked about ranks? Was he actually a colonel?
Yeah, 06, because that's officer 6 rank, I think is his pay scale. I think that's right.
So I actually didn't even know about him.
But look at his primary specialty.
Right. He's a desk jockey.
Secretary.
But he's a brave desk jockey.
Yeah,
He's not afraid to not order.
right.
Right.
We're not getting any more Post-its.
Yeah, exactly.
And when he's forced to leave the office, he gets to drive the Patriot.
What's courageous about paperwork? Just wondering.
I don't know.
Like tax
I
evasion.
get a
shit?
feeling he gave himself that name.
You know what I think it was? I think it was Colonel Liquid Courage.
Oh. We just lost the little L there.
Middle,
All right,
middle
number
middle.
7 on the list is there's some story behind why this horrible name exists, but it is not good. Mike gave us Action Man. And you'll notice I have no information for Action Man because there's no information for Action Man. So
The
Action
logo.
Man.
He's got the
sorry.
G.I. Joe logo on his pants.
Weird.
Yeah, so Action Man exists. He came very late in the game. It was one of those like collector's figures, really. To the 12-inch line outside of America was called Action Man rather than G.I. Joe. So this is kind of like bringing it full circle and making Action Man an actual member of G.I. Joe.
So you mean the old-timey G.I. Joes, the version overseas was Action Man.
Right.
Okay.
So to kind of tie all that together, we get Action Man joining the G.I. Joes, which is not a good reason and is not a good name, but there he is.
Do we know if he got any action?
I mean, I would assume some, but who knows?
Do we know if he's a man?
You know,
Nowadays, you never can tell.
I don't question those.
I think, you know what? If you have G.I. Joe on your pants, you're a man. Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like if you have the logo of G.I. Joe on your pants, you have to be a man. That's just the rule. Mike, biology, anything?
It almost sounds like he's trying too hard to convince us.
No,
You know what I mean?
No, I would say if he had Action Man in his pants, he's trying to convince you. He put G.I. Joe in his pants to show you he's one of them. I don't know.
It's like a band performing and wearing their own band T-shirt, though.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Don't be Todd.
Don't be Todd.
Number 6 on the list is another Joe that has appeared on both our best and worst list. Johnny gave us Chuckles.
Yeah, it's just dumb. I mean, come on. So his name's Chuckles. You had all these other badass names, as Mike said, named after torture and other things. And now we have Chuckles? So if he's supposed to be undercover, you could add any other name, could add, whatever, Secret Agent Man, whatever you want to call him. Chuckles. Also, does he make you laugh? I don't remember him being a comedian.
He wears that shirt, makes me smile.
The shirt's funny, but he's not funny.
Maybe it was like ironic that, he was very dry and not funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because it's Chuckles and not like Hearty Belly Laugh Man. Like he's just like clever. Yeah, so I was never a fan.
My character name is Skip A. Stone, and Chuckles goes,
Skip A. Stone. I didn't have the Chuckles figure as a kid. I have no connection to him. So looking at face value, which is exactly what Brian told me to do, it's not for me.
I've heard that a lot of the people that had the figure used him as like a civilian figure. So when they were playing, he would be the one that got captured and was the hostage or whatever.
I would make him a cocaine dealer that G.I. Joe's busting.
Okay.
His secondary skill was piloting too, so yeah.
No, highlight.
I thought maybe you can somehow like just take his torso and that's what's inside Destro's case. Is like he cut off his whole torso just for the shirt.
Mm-hmm. Destro could rock that shirt. He likes the bare chest. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he could rock any shirt.
Yeah.
So number 5, we're in the top 5 now. This was also brought to Johnny. It's a little Johnny segment here. And he was also mentioned on the last video. He got an honorable mention for best name, but worst name, we just talked about him. Good old Skip.
Skip A. Stone.
I don't mind Cutter, but I don't like Skip A. Stone. It's a dumb pun of a name. There's no reason for it. You could have just called him Skip, Jackson, whatever. The idea of skipping a stone, at this point, either do all puns or no puns. That's all I'm saying.
I like that they said special services, but they get very specific on what his special services were.
Yeah.
So he's a
perp. It almost is, to Mike's point earlier, almost a little too specific.
Like,
yeah.
Like
there's a story behind that.
Yeah, he's like, no, Judge, I did coach the women's swim team in Annapolis. Okay.
There was a reason I was in the locker room of the women's locker room in the pool.
Right. He was the coach. It's like, yeah, but the locker room you were in was not in Annapolis. And then they take him away. Fucking heel haul him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, but that's good old Skip a Stone. Next on the list was brought to us by Brian, and I completely agree with him on this one. Sergeant Hacker.
Oh.
It's also a lazy name. It's like, what does he do? Oh, he's a computer guy. No, let's call him Hacker.
And not just like his specialty is computer technology. Like that was like a class in high school.
Right. And so he's probably just desktop support, but he fancies himself some kind of hacker.
Also, Emmitsburg, Iowa seems very specific. Like somebody
he knows some nerd from there, and he's kind of getting back at him.
Yeah. So, Viron, as sort of our IT guy here, can you dissect that first sentence of his motto?
If it's digital and in memory someplace, I don't know. I don't know.
That motto's very long.
What is in memory someplace? What is like, in memory?
What if it's in RAM and then it powers down and then it's gone?
Right.
They didn't have the cloud yet.
Yeah. This was 1987 computers, you know.
So he's putting on a Cobra suit and going where they live. I'm imagining that's Springfield, and he's going to work at Best Buy at the.
If it's Cobra, it's Circuit City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That radio telecom as a secondary specialty is super.
That's more impressive than his primary.
I think he worked at Radio Shack actually.
Selling resistors and Tandy computers.
No, he was stealing non-alkaline batteries
and selling tapes for your answering machine.
Yeah, he's stealing Rayovac batteries, and it's like, get this guy out of here.
So, are we ready for the top 3 worst G.I. Joe names? Number 3, on the surface, this one sounds crazy, but I know once he explains it, I'll probably agree with him. Johnny gave us Alpine.
Oh, God. So there's one thing I have to say. Alpine.
Is that worse than
That's what I'm laughing at.
Yeah. Come on. Alpine? So where's Bend Over?
Where's Michael Hunt?
Yeah, where's Mike Hunt? Where's Stand Up? Where's Hey Would You Blow Me? Where's all of them? Where's Jacques Strap?
I like his secondary
specialty
skill
athletic
too.
supporter.
Yeah.
You know, where's Harry Seaward over here? I don't see him. It's like Alpine.
Do you think Larry Hama just had a map and just went like this for locations?
I think initially, sort of, like he wanted every state, like every region to be represented, so everyone could say, "Hey, this guy's from my area." But there was one series of Joes that were put out where all the guys from Hasbro noticed that he was naming some after people he knew. So he's like, "Hey, I want to be a Joe too." So everyone at Hasbro decided they were going to be a Joe that year. So there's like one whole series where everyone's from Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And Larry's like, there's a reason I was doing this and like picking these different locations. Like, we can't have this mass group of G.I. Joes from Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Unless it was Schaumburg, Illinois.
Leave us Nantucket. You have some fun puns with that one. You know what I mean?
There once was a lady from Nantucket.
Once was a Joe from Nantucket whose O-ring was so big.
You could suck it.
Yeah. Fill in the blank. Leave it in the comments below.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 on the list, I was actually shocked. I thought this was going to be number 1. 2 people did vote for it, though. Johnny and Mike both gave us Skidmark.
Yes.
That was my favorite.
Dude, this guy's named after a poo-poo. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, his primary specialty is fucking caca stains in your underwear.
Yeah. Fast attack. You know, it's
and you notice where he's ranked at. Number 2.
LA.
Number 2.
Oh, number 2. Cyril
Colombani.
Oh, like colon?
No, that sounds like an Italian name to me.
Yeah, Colombani. They call him Johnny Skidmarks.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't believe. Like, I will also say too that when this came out, I also think that using the term Skidmark as we're joking about it was much more common than now anyway.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
for the age of people that were buying G.I. Joes, definitely.
and the age. I mean, unless
49?
it was like, unless it was
now.
maybe like if you, like it was a reward parents got for their kids once they stopped leaving skid marks.
Right.
And they learned to wipe properly. And
yeah, you can't just do the outside. You got to get in there.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? You find your entire crack, you cleaned it. I'm going to buy you Skidmark to show you that you have, reached the rank.
You do this, and then until you come out and there's nothing on it. Yeah. Then you know.
All right. Number 1 on this list. I'm pretty excited about this one. This is the only entry that all 3 of you voted for. And 2 people had it as their number 2 worst character name, or worst name is what we're going with here. Not somebody you hear about a lot, but somebody that is mentioned, the Ice Cream Soldier.
Yes.
Oh, the Ice Cream Soldier.
So what's the deal with his name? What does it mean?
I think it's supposed to be ironic because he's a fire expert.
He's a fire operations expert. What does that even mean?
Does that mean he suppresses fire? Is he
Or does he create
Maybe
them?
I should have pulled up his whole file card, but maybe the fire operations expert is that he suppresses the fire because all of his weapons were white. I remember that.
I didn't like how his real name is Tom Henry, like Steve Dave. Not a fan.
Is it also, it's a hyphenated name, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's weird, right?
A little bit.
Tom Henry Reagan, also known as Thragan.
And he's a barbecue chef.
Very important. I
Well,
mean, we have
that's why he
roadblock.
couldn't be barbecue because it was already taken.
I wonder if do you think
face.
maybe he served ice cream after his world famous barbecues?
Maybe that's what it is. That brings it all together.
What if it was
is
more
there
like
any, is it like, I wonder if there's a list of here's all the characters and here's each issue they were in. I'd wager he was probably not in any issues.
I don't
what
think
if
he
it was
appeared
ice cream?
inside an issue.
I'm thinking maybe it was ice cream soldier.
Yeah.
I scream, you scream, that whole thing.
Is he on the massive cover?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Let's see if I can pull up his file card and get some insight into this guy.
Yeah, we definitely need that.
Oh, he is a
What?
flamethrower commando.
So
Why didn't they make his last name Cone, like an ice cream cone?
Like KOH or COHN.
Well, yeah, if you want to make it that version of
You,
cone.
re- you guys ready for his motto?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Eating ice cream without hot fudge is like fighting without ammunition.
Hmm.
Wise man. Wise man.
So
He
he's
is.
like Blowtorch. He's a war criminal.
Wait, why?
He's a flamethrower guy.
Yeah, he's a flamethrower commando. So
I was thinking maybe he just shot ice cream on fires.
Yeah.
Like he just,
Or if
soft
someone's on
serve.
fire, he would throw ice cream at him to put it out.
Yeah, he's like, quick, Cobra's coming. And he loads up soft serve in the cannon,
Oh.
and then it just like dribbles out. And then
Now, if
goes
they
in.
would have called him Baked Alaska, it would have been better.
Yeah.
That's
true.
he
Or
was,
you could
one
call
of
him
his
soft serve.
one of his weapons were Molotov designed baseball grenades.
Oh,
So they looked like scoops of ice cream.
Oh,
Oh my God.
but they were on fire. Obviously. Okay.
Do you think Larry Hama's like, look, they can't all be bangers?
Or maybe he didn't do this one. Maybe someone else stepped in and was like, I have this really great idea. Or, hey, my kid designed a G.I. Joe. This is what
Yeah.
his name-
I
Like-
can't wait for the Ice Cream Soldier omnibus to come out for that
Yeah.
great ice cream.
Hey, ice cream soldier, do you come with nuts? I could see the just
Mhm.
kids having their way.
Or a great duo book, Ice Cream Soldier and Skidmark team up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hijinks ensue.
yes, indeed. But
I'm
that has
thinking if
been
ice cream soldier, maybe like if there was somebody named after a Slurpee, they could be a duo called Brain Freeze or something.
the Brain Freeze crew or Squad Brain Freeze.
Yeah.
That is our list of the 10 worst G.I. Joe names. Let us know below how much you agree with us. If you have any other horrible names, leave them down there too. But that has been A Real American Brian and Johnny and Mike.
You've been watching A Real American Brian production in association with the letters G, I, and JOE.